Hello, today I'd like to go over Chapter 8, Data Manipulation Language, also called DML, including insert data, deleting data, update data, merge data, and we're going to modify also using the table expression and also with the output. So whatever you update or delete will be shown in the output. Let's get into the insert data. So I'm going to create a table called orders. Execute this. So it's going to have 6 rows in here and also add additional records here. Well, this is the selecting from these values as output. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of having selecting from a table, you can also do as the actual value. So these are the 4 values you see on out here, and each one column is ordered by, so which is referring to this, and order date is this, and employee ID is this, and the customer ID, which is this column. It's like a virtual table. Insert using select statement there. Now here is the select statement here. Also, as you select, you can put the records into this table here called orders table. So if you select with the here, just run this by, only select from where this. So run this and you see 56 records. So 56 records will be added into this orders table. Let's look at how many records we have now. Copy. Select count from this table. You can see how many records it's going to add before and after. So down here, you can see how many records it's going to add before. This tells you before how many records, and this is after. So run this. Insert into statement. Insert. Oh, I think there's typo there. Insert into. So it's supposed to be like this. So let's run this again. So it's gonna 6 records, and now after adding records into this using this select statement there, now we have 62 records. So how many records added? That means the 56 records. So if you run along here, you must have 56 records. See here, 56 records. So this is another way to add records into a table. You can also do as dynamic. So here, I'm going to add records from here. So I see 4 records, and 4 records will be added into this. So you can add it this way. This is another way. Now 4 rows are added into the orders table. Now there's another way to add using store procedure. So I'm going to create a store procedure. First, if it exists, I'm going to drop the store procedure, and it's going to create a store procedure called sales.usb get orders. What it does is that it's going to select from orders table. Shipping country is matching with the country. So country is data type is national var char, 40 characters. So it's going to create that one. This is very simple store procedure. Create procedure, and this is name of procedure, and this is parameter is passing into this store procedure. And this is comparing from this table, shipping country, it goes to the input value that is passed over to this store procedure. So this is a way to call the store procedure at exec and sales.usp, name of the store procedure, and this is a variable, and this is actual value assigning to this variable. So if you run this one here, you get 77 records there. You can also verify this up to here, and you can replace the country with France here. Then you must have 77 records. Same thing. Now, once you call this running this, you get 77 records. By using store procedure, you can also add records into this orders table. And 77 records will be added into orders table by using this. 77 records added. Okay. Now we're going to use this into statement. So this one we're going to create a orders table. Drop the table, and we're going to create the orders table from fresh. So into means whatever you select here, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns will be created into this new table called dbo.orders table. First, because that already exists, so you have to drop it. If the table exists, then it's going to drop the table. There we go. 831 records added. It's very easy to create a table by using into. Also, you can create a table called location here. I'm going to create a location table. First, I'm going to drop it if it exists. Then here, select 1, 2, 3, 3 columns into location table from sales.customer table. And I'm going to remove except. We understand except means that it's going to subtract the columns from employees table. All these employee table, if it exists in the customers table, that will be removed from the customers table. And the result will be 66 records will be stored into the dbo.locations table. Also, this is a bulk insert. There are times you need to add records from a file. This can be a file that is provided by partners. Sometimes they send us the files through FTP and they place in certain location. And you can open the file and load it into the database easily. This is to make sure this is on the SQL Server folder location, not on not your client folder location. So I already created a table, a folder called temp with a file called orders.txt on the SQL Server. So I'm going to run this one here, and first I want to make sure whether it is or not. I'm going to select the table before I add the records, and this is after. So you must see the difference. So 831 records exist before I added the records into the table. Now, after adding, it is becoming 841. That means that this table, this file contains 10 records. You can find this file on the website here, orders.txt. You can also see the content of that one. So identity property and sequence objects. I'm going to create a table. This time a little bit different. I'm going to create a T1 table, and identity is gonna identity declaration is happening like this. So a key column is integer, not null, and it's gonna identity fields. What it means is it starts with the 1 and increments by 1. So anytime you add records, it will be incremented by 1. And there's also constraints. You can see constraints check 1. This is name. It can be anything, but usually the account naming convention would be table name followed by the column. And check date column, which is the this column, varchar 10, must be A through Z. So it can accept only the alphabet values. It can accept the integer values. It must start with the alphabet. That's why it says A through Z. That is constraints. So I'm going to create that one. It's created. So adding records into this table. And I'm going to select from the table again. So you can see the table T1 contains these three records there. But there's dollar identity. As you can see, the color is in pink, means it's a reserved word. So the name, the column does not exist because it is a reserved word. That's why it's in pink. So 1, 2, 3. So that is the identity column. The value is displayed through the dollar sign identity. Using scope identity, let's look at this one here, running, and it says 4. Why does it 4? Well, you insert, you declare at new key as integer, and as you add records into this table T1, the identity is currently there's 3 records in the T1 table. By adding additional 1 records, the identity becomes the 4th one. So it is a scope underscore identity dollars parenthesis. That means it's a reserved word. And what it happens is that it's going to grab the identity. Whatever you added, the last value will be equal to the scope identity. You're assigning this value into the variable called at new underscore key column, and you're printing select at new key as new key column. That's how you find the latest identity values. This is very useful when you do the multiple inserts through the multiple applications into single same table. Then this will help you to diagnose. Run the unders connection, and if you run this one here, what it means is that you have up here and it says new query. You click this one here and opens that one. Paste, run that one. Then you can see the scope identity is null, identity is null, identity current is 4. So that what it means is it's going to give you the latest the dbo.tables current identity. What is the current one? Well, it's going to display using this one here. But scope identity is not displayed because it is not in the same session. It's different session basically. When you click new query, it will create separate session. Now, if you try to add records into here, it will give you an error. Why does it give error? Well, it says check constraints data. So as I mentioned, this one here on the bottom up there, the constraint is check constraints, and has-be starts with the A through Z. It takes alphabet, not integer value, like this. That's why it gives error message. So if you run this one here, you should go through fine. One row affected. And if you select from the table, it will give you the 6 records there, which is the latest one I added is this one here, EEE. It can manually add a value, identity value, using the set identity insert on off. You can do that. Currently, I do not have the 5. By running this, I see 5 there. So you can add the specific, if you skipped a value, then you can override it manually by using set identity insert on and off. On means that you're gonna manually add the uh, identity value. Once you have identity off, that means it will automatically add the um, identity value, which it shows on the bottom here, 7 with the ZZZ. GG. Okay. Now let's get into sequence, how the sequence works. Sequence is created using this syntax here, create sequence and integer. And the minimum value is the 1 and cycle, so it will increment. So command completed successfully. The syntax is the increment by, you can increment just the 1 or the increment by 100. You can set it up manually using this template. So if you select one more here, every time you run this one here, it will increment every time you call this next val 4, and from this DBO ID, which is the name of the sequence. So here, this is name of the sequence, and this tells you the type of sequence, type of data type, which is a sequence data type, and this is the actual name uh, of the sequence. So anytime you call this using this, it will increment by 1. You can have this on the same line. Running at 4, 5, etc. Six, 8. So anytime you add the records, the key column will increment because it declared the new order ID and the next val, which is the sequence name of sequence. So that actual value is assigned to a new order ID. And now you're adding new order ID along with the value A. So that's why you see on here. When you select from the table, it gives you the value there. If you add one more records here, you have a 6 and 7B. 7B is coming from this one here. You can also do the update key column using this one here. Update, this is name of the table, and the C column, which is this, and it can be incremented using this. So after running this, this is original value. After running this, it will say 8, 9 from the 6, 7. The actual data column does not change it because this update statement is updating the key column, which is this one here. So it will increment by 1. So this is another way to add the records into this. So insert into this table, and this will tell you the values it's going to insert into the T1 table. By running this, you will see all these names up here is coming from this query here. You can also do the range SQL variant, SQL sequence, DBO ID, range size 100. And first name equals the first output, and 19 there. Running one more time. It's 1019 because how does it work? Well, it's going to increment by 100. So by running one more time here, then it becomes 2019. So that means that it will increment by 1000 instead of 1. You can dynamically change it by range size to be this one here. So by running one more time, it becomes 3019. Now we're getting into deleting, how to delete a records from a table. There are a number of ways to create deleting records. This one here, I'm going to create a table called orders and insert into a table. So 91 rows into the customer table, and orders table, I insert 831 records. So this is the 831 records. This customer table, 91 records. Now, deleting the records, you can have a cut orders table and say where condition, and this is name of column, and this is a comparison. If the date is 2007 or before January 2007, then all the records will be deleted. Okay? So 152 records deleted from this orders table. Truncate table D1. This is another way to remove records from a table called T1. What is the difference? What is the difference between delete and truncate? Well, deleting is the you used deleting makes a transaction log. If you do not have a word condition, it will be same as the truncating. Truncate means deleting all the records from a table. Delete from without the word condition it will do the same thing as truncate, but there's a big difference between delete and truncate. First, delete statement, you can also apply word condition to delete only selected rows. Also, it will create transaction log, whereas truncate does not create transaction log. So if you know for sure you do not need any records from the table, then you can use a truncate that will give you better performance than delete from name of table. So deleting, you can also using joins. You can join orders and the customers table and make a condition. Then you can delete from orders table. It will do the same thing as the subquery. You can say orders table where the the country is equal to USA, and this is the same as the above. So if you run this again, first this one deleted 99 records. If it's the same query, what happens? It will delete 0 records because on the above it deleted already same records. So this is same as bottom one here. Now, how do we update records? Well, first I'm going to create a table. Okay, 831 records and 2,155 records. Now, how do we update? You can have a name of the table, set command, set discount, discount plus this, where product ID equals 51. So you are updating the details table, and this is a constraints, meaning the condition that compares the product ID with a value 51. If we miss the condition, then discount will be discount plus 0.05. So you're adding additional 5% discount. Bottom on here, this is equivalent to bottom on here. You can write this or you can write this way here. Same thing. 39 records updated. So this one is same as bottom one here. You can write this or you can write this way. Update based on join. You can join tables like this, and you can say update OD, which is the OD is the orders detail because this is alias name. So you're updating orders detail table, and this is the discount. You're adding discount plus 5%. So adding only additional 5% for customers I equals to 1. And you can write this on the top one and bottom one. They are same as above. So there are multiple ways to write same result. This is one way, and this is another way. There are many ways to generate the same results. Now we get to the merge data set. Merge is new features added in the SQL 2008 and 2012. Just creating a table called customers table and the customer stage table. So when you look at the customer table, you have 5 records in here, and stage table, 5 records, both tables, customers and customer stage. But you can see the names, the values are different. So I'm going to copy the result set before I update it. So this one here, merge statement, merge. What happens is a merge and the customers table and the customer stage table. And if they're comparing it, if they're same, so what happens is that when matched, customer ID and the customer source. So this is the source alias name and this target. So basically updating the customers table after comparing stage table. So stage source is this, target is this. If they have matching customer ID, you look at the customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has a stage table, has 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So you can see the matching records are 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 5 are common. Customer ID 2, 3, 5 that exist in the stage table as well as customers table. So if they are matched, then what happens? Then when matched, then it's gonna update the values, company, phone, and address. So it will update only 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, the values with this one here, stage table. So it will be changed to CCC. When not matched, then if it doesn't exist, if the customer ID does not exist in both in this table, then what happens? It's gonna add the records 6 and 7. Then it says insert value, all this coming from the source. Six rows affected. So let's look at the customers table. What happens here? See, customer table, you have this. So I'm going to bring out the snapshot here so you can see by side, before and after. So you can see this is original table, customer and stage table here. So you can see customers remain the same value. Number 2 is changed to be 888 because you see the 888 is coming from the stage table. So customer 2 is overwritten by the stage table. And this is the value. So you see the 888. Number 3 is customer 3 because the customer 3 is the coming from here. So there's a match there, 3 and 3, but there are same values there. So it will remain the same. How about number 4? 4 does not exist, so it will be same as the original value because there's no matching. Okay. What about the 5 is same thing. 5 is BBB. Original value is customer 5. It is overwritten by BBB here, BBB. And 6 and 7, they do not exist in the original table. That's why it is all added into the stage table, which is the to the customers table. You can also have the delete statement there. If you're gonna compare with the values, and if they do not matched by source, then it's gonna delete the records. It's the same, exactly same as above, except this time it has the uh, when not matched by source, then it's gonna then delete the records. 7 rows affected, and if you run this one here, you see only 5 records instead of 7 records you saw. Deleted 1 and 4. So 1, this one here does not exist in the on here. That's why it's removed 1. And how about number 4? Number 4 exists in the original one, but not in the staging table. That's why it's gone. Because you see on the when not matched by source, then it's gonna delete it. Now we're gonna get into the updating records using common table expression. Common table expression is another way to update certain records. It will simplify a query. So on here, running the inside the common table expression. So it's gonna generate 12 records here. Then this result set is stored in the common table expression variable called C. And update C set discount equal to new discount. Where does new discount coming in? Well, this is discount original one here, and discount plus 0.05 is new discount. So you're updating existing discount by 5% by using this. It's the same thing as the above using update D and set value because this result set is a variable called D. So you're updating this whole thing with the discount equals to new discount because new discount is coming from here. So this is same as the above. It's called derived table compared to this common table expression. You can use a common table expression to update, or you can use the derived table to update records. You can also have the fetch, built-in fetch. (831 records affected, added records into the orders table. Now, here's the way to select removing records. You can see um, inside here, select only table. When you run this one here, it's going to grab 50 records. So by having 50 records, you're deleting the first 50 records. You can see two queries. I'm going to do, before I delete 50 records using this common table expression, I have a select statement there, before and after, so I can compare how many records are actually deleted. So here, after running it, 831 records, This is before running this delete statement there. After running it, 781 records. So that means that 50 records are deleted. So it's very easy to use a common table expression to manipulate the records, or deleting it and updating is very easy. So you can think as the same thing here, updating. Instead of deleting the records, you can also do the updating records using a common table expression. So this is the before and after. So I'm updating only 3 records, and I'm selecting top 5 so I can see 3 records are updated and the 2 records are not. So here, these 3 records are updated here. 123 and added $10 onto here, so 133 instead of 123. A53, 1853, 3828, 4828. So it's updating only the first 3 records, and these remain the same because on here you see only fetch first 3 rows. So it's only updating first 3 records.